On the Stove Industry Association website, they have an article called Benefits of Modern Stoves. They make the statement, a modern sustainable solid fuel stove used correctly is a very low emission, highly efficient, low carbon and cost effective way to heat the main living space in your home. Let's look at the low carbon part of that claim. Further down on the page they state wood logs have the lowest carbon emissions factor of any domestic heating fuel at 0.01 kilograms CO2e per kilowatt hour. Is this claim correct? No, it's not, and here's why. If you follow the government link on the SIA website, it will download a spreadsheet showing the figure the SIA are quoting. It's called Scope 1. What they don't say is that the guidelines on that spreadsheet show that the Scope 1 figure doesn't include the CO2 absorbed by the tree while it was growing. The guidelines also explain that for an organisation to be transparent, they need to separately quote the outside of scope emissions as they contain the true value for CO2 emissions. You will need to download the full set version of the spreadsheet to find the outside of scope emissions, where it states wood logs, wood chips and wood pellets all have the figure of 0.35. So what's happening here is that the CO2 the tree absorbed while it was growing is being removed to obtain the Scope 1 emission factor figure. So the figure quoted by the SIA isn't the true value of CO2 emissions from wood burning. The actual emission factor figure for the CO2 of wood burning is 0.36. The SIA have also put out misinformation saying that the Clean Air Night campaign facts are false. The Clean Air Night statement is true because the CO2 stored in the wood is released when the wood is burnt. That's a scientific fact. A tree will absorb CO2 when it is growing. It absorbs more CO2 when it is a mature tree than when it was a young tree. When it is burnt, it will release the stored CO2 and also other pollutants like particulate matter, ultrafine particles, formaldehyde and benzene. All of those are bad for your health. All the figures for gas and electricity in the spreadsheet are around 0.2, so using the correct figure of 0.36, wood burning has an emission factor that is actually around 75% more than gas and electricity. That's nearly double. Wood burning emits more CO2 than gas, oil, coal and electricity generation. The SIA are not being transparent with the correct emission figures, as stated in the guidelines. When the SIA say that modern stoves are low carbon and have the lowest carbon emissions factor of any domestic heating fuel, they are greenwashing.